can you explain to me how is the opioid crisis sort of factoring into trade negotiations? What's the connection here?
So the opioid crisis has been part of the negotiations with China from day one. The issue, of course, is that fentanyl, one of the drugs which is a central problem in the opioid crisis, is produced very substantially in China. And cooperation between Chinese and US law enforcement is urgently required to stem the flow of drugs into the United States.
Yeah.
Now, what seems to have happened in the last few days is that as the US and China approach that phase one trade deal, as they dot the I's and cross the T's on that, fentanyl has bubbled up towards the top of the agenda as potentially one of the most eye-catching components of that deal.
A good way for Trump to sell the deal, certainly at home, to skeptical business communities, to farmers, to hardliners. But I'm sort of interested in the fact that this has been a topic of conversation before. I mean, it's about a year ago in Buenos Aires that we knew that Xi had agreed to, in some way, rein back. But how much is it in China's control, what is coming into the US?
So it's a common fallacy that China's policymakers in Beijing, Xi Jinping and the Standing Committee have a writ that runs firmly and immediately throughout the entire country. The reality is that China is big, complicated and difficult to manage, and I'm sure that even the central government would not have 100% success in stamping out a lucrative trade in drug manufacturing. That said, clearly this is going to be a problem that's easier to deal with China on side than it would be if they're not.